yesterday I was here at the Breathe Into Being event that Sherry and Jonathan Robert had, and then a group of us went to see Kelby and Dr. Tony, who's been on organ here before, and I can't remember the guitarist's name. John Lee at Pagliacci's, and wow, that was quite something. So, and then I had an adventure with my car being locked in the parkade and didn't get home till about 1 after security had to come and fish it out. And yeah, that was a long night. But anyway, it was actually kind of nice because at the very end of that whole thing, Kelby lent me $20 because they wanted cash, and they wouldn't take a debit or a credit card, and I didn't have, all my stuff was in the car, but I didn't have cash. And the guy who came, the security guard who finally came, because the first one didn't, he called and said, you know, I just came on shift and I want to apologize. The person who was dispatched before didn't end up going, and so I'm so sorry that you've had to wait for so long, but I'm on my way. I'll be there in 5 minutes. I was sitting in the car with Sherry, because she was there last night too, and we were both so tired. We could barely speak, but we're just like, he's coming, it's all good. I'm thinking, what's the lesson in this? I mean, clearly read the sign, but besides that, you know, like it'll come later on down the road. And it never occurred to me that a parkade would close at a certain time. Anyway, I see some shaking heads and some nodding heads. So those of you who are with me, thank you for being with me. But when he finally came, I was so tired. He's giving me instructions on how to get out of the parkade. I had to ask him to repeat it about 4 times because I didn't want to get trapped in there. That's how tired I was. Like, I'm going to get trapped in this parkade. And so I went. It was the easiest thing to do. And when I came out the other end, and there's this young man, I didn't ask him his name, but he's standing there. I was so happy. I was so happy to see him and the end and the entranceway. And I paid, and then I looked at him and I said, "Are you a dad?" And he looked at me and said, "What?" And I said, "Are you a dad?" And he beamed with this big smile and he said, "Yes, I am." And I said, "Well, happy Father's Day," because it was after midnight already. And then he beamed even more. It was so great. And then I made it home and I lived to tell the tale, and here I am. Anyway, so my dad was a tough man to grow up with. And now that I am in New Thought, immersed in these teachings, and know that I have made choices all along the way of my lifetime and existence in this form, then I chose my dad. And my dad chose me, and we chose our entire family experience, that kind of thing. But my dad, it was tough being his daughter. And I still remember every now and then what it was like to stand up and do the eulogy at his funeral over 10 years ago, and not knowing what was going to come out of my mouth because we had this tenuous relationship, but I didn't want to kind of air dirty laundry, you know, in front of everyone. And so the thing that came out was being my father's daughter was not easy. And over the course of my consciousness studies, what ended up happening was I basically learned that love is all there is. Each and every one of us is love. And in this experience that we're having from moment to moment to moment, we're doing the best that we can. Now, we can always do better, but every single moment we are doing the best that we can with whatever it is that we are equipped with in the moment, with whatever level of consciousness it is that we're embracing. Now, we can always embrace a greater level of consciousness, but every moment we're doing the best that we can. So along the way of my consciousness studies, I realized that I forgave my dad, which was such a cool realization to make. And now, even though he's not around anymore, my dad and I have the best relationship that we've ever had. And so much of it is because I went through these consciousness studies, through foundational, practitioner, ministerial, advanced consciousness studies, and just kept learning about personal responsibility, of opening up to this incredible, amazing awesomeness that I am, that is the essence of everyone and everything. And because it's the only thing going on, then, oh my gosh, that's what my dad is too, right? And we chose each other. We were reflections of each other. People still say, "Oh my gosh, you're so your father's daughter. You look like him, you talk like him, you move like him." And now that's a compliment. You know, a few years ago, not so much. Anyway, so back to the Song for My Father by Horace Silver. This is one of my favorite Horace Silver tunes. So thank you, gentlemen, for playing it here today. And so these are the lyrics. "This little song for my father does things that no other can do. As I sing it to you, it has a rhythm and a rhyme that will fasten his memory in time as his beauty shines through. And that's where I want to pause. Because to me, when I was looking at these lyrics, which I only discovered, I think, in the last couple of years, I've heard it way more as an instrumental, I was looking at this song, and now after hearing what Kelby offered about, why the song was written and what it means, then to me, this was an opportunity to really tune into that we always have a perspective. We always have a viewpoint. We always have, some kind of lens that we're receiving and creating our life experience through. And every single moment is a brand new opportunity to shift that perspective. And so where for me, for the longest time, for most of my life, I had a certain relationship with my dad that was really founded in fear and anxiety and pain and overwhelm and anger. That perspective started to shift very gradually through my consciousness studies and through constant practice of remembering and rediscovering who and what I am, and as a result, who and what he is too. And so to me, his beauty shines through is about experiencing the God, love, spirit, energy, whatever you want to call it, of anyone in our life, including those who were our fathers, those who have offered us fathering energy in any kind of form, teachers, friends, community members, people we don't know necessarily but who inspire us, that all of that is always there, and we recognize it because it already exists in us too. So if it's something that exists in us, it's going to be reflected back to us. And if we open up to take a look at it, even if it's covered up in something else that doesn't feel as wonderful as the love and kindness and compassion that we would prefer sometimes, that it's still there. And what we get to do is we get to look past whatever it is that is happening, whatever it is that we're experiencing, and trust and know that underneath it is pure, essential love. For through my mind and soul, my heart will always hold a special place for him. It's true. We bow our heads and we pray every Father's Day. And let's review all that he means to you. Our mother's love is real nice, but old Dad sacrificed for us too. Let us give him his due. And so to me, those last few stanzas talk about the capacity for growth, including self-love. How many people here are parents or have had some kind of parenting relationship with someone in their life? Okay? And for those of us who didn't necessarily grow up with a super loving, whole, focused family, where we had to maybe go through some trials and tribulations and challenges to rediscover our resilience and our strength. Anyone like that in the room here? Yeah? Okay. And so this is what this is about. Old Dad sacrificed for us too. Sure, old Dad sacrificed, but he did it from the viewpoint and from the point where he was in consciousness, the best that he knew how. His best thinking, his best choices, his best actions, doing what he thought was for the best of his family. And now I see that for my dad. Back then, not so much. And so that's for us to change our perspective and to know that no matter how someone is showing up in life, that we get to experience them the way we want to experience them. Okay? No one's doing things to us. Life isn't being thrown at us. It's not happening to us. Life is happening for us and through us. And when we focus on love, like Reverend Joanna was saying, when we focus on acceptance, when we focus on compassion and forgiveness, then we can sometimes see through the other stuff that appears differently that allows us to have a more authentic connection with someone. In fact, yesterday at the Breathe Into Being event, there was someone who shared afterwards that there was research that was done on coherence where joy, happiness, celebration, love, peace, a lot of different feelings were measured. And people thought that joy or love or peace maybe would vibrate at the highest, that sort of the amount of coherence or the amount of, 4 hours of sleep, what are the words that I want? The amount that the heart, sort of like experienced and expanded, that it would be the greatest with those things. But where it expanded the most, 40 times higher than even love or joy or peace, was when people were being authentic, when they were showing up as they truly feel, as they truly are in the moment. Not trying to hide, not trying to make excuses for or rationalize or be something that they're not trying to spiritual bypass, right? But showing up authentically, feeling authentically, moving energy, emotion authentically. This is when it was the highest, when the heart was the most expanded. So moving through the rest of the lyrics, we're very proud to be in his biography. We sing this song for him, and you, and you, and you. And so this, to me, talks about how we're all shaped by our past, but just because things were a certain way at one point, or maybe for a lot of our life, doesn't mean they have to be that way going forward. Which brings us back to choice and personal responsibility. Really, one of the three main tenets of New Thought philosophy. That we are always at choice to express more fully as the love we are, or to focus on all of the other stuff that is in the world that maybe isn't so nice feeling, right? What we focus on expands. And so the more we focus on love and joy and peace, the more we focus on accepting ourselves and each other as we are, knowing that no matter how we're showing up, at the very essence of it, there is pure essential love. That's what the work is. That's what's important. And so this song, to me, is just such a beautiful tribute to not just this man who wrote this song for his father, but for us remembering who we are, for us showing up in support and in guidance and in love. You want to throw in tradition, playfulness, goofiness, all of the different things that I think of when I think of fathers. And there are two fathers in this room that I know, one quite well and one I'm getting to know, who to me are shining examples of beautiful, beautiful, essential fatherhood expressing. And that is my husband, Glenn, and the way that he shows up and has shown up for Milana's entire life. The dad that I wanted but didn't have, the grandfather she got, the dad I didn't have, but I see that in Glenn again and again and again. Milana's turning 21 next month, which kind of blows my mind. But one of the most amazing things about Glenn is his playfulness and curiosity and wonder. And so for Milana to be able to receive that, to enjoy that with him, I mean, how many people here have dads or have seen dads where they like throw kids up in the air, right? Like they're just like tossing them like little footballs. The kids are like screaming with so much delight and whatever. I have so many memories like that of Milana, of Glenn just tossing her up in the air and just her free as a little bird enjoying herself, right? Not even having to know that she's going to be caught by her dad. Just like, this is life, free and easy. I don't even have to know that he's going to do it, right? And then there's Kelby. Kelby, when he comes here with his daughter, Juna, and the attention that he gives her, the connection that they have, when he braids her hair, when he gives her little massages, when they're talking together, when they're drawing together, it is so beautiful to watch. So thank you for bringing that energy and that consciousness into our community, both of you. Now, I know that there are others here as well. I just don't know you as well to be able to share your stories and anecdotes and how it is that you love and admire and nurture and inspire your children and those who are in your life and near and dear to you. So what I want to end with, because my talk title is Song for My Father, Arrangement for Myself, that even if we didn't have the dad that we would have preferred, that right here, right now, in this now moment, we can change our relationship with our dad. We can change our relationship with the fathering energy that has been in our life, or even the energy that we have expressed to others. Because every single moment is a brand spanking new moment to remember who we are, to become more of who we are, and to really just surrender to being who and what we truly are, which here at VTC we like to say is love. So I'm going to offer you the quote that we had in meditation. I am the spark of sacred play, divine laughter, and love in motion. I lead through joy, I guide through giggles, and I teach through play. And then on top of that, I'm going to read When the Violin by Hafiz, rendered by Daniel Ladinsky, which is a poem that I put in my book because which is dedicated to my dad. My dad was a violin player, and when I saw this poem, it just cracked my heart wide open. When the Violin. When the violin can forgive the past, it starts singing. When the violin can stop worrying about the future, you will become such a drunk, laughing nuisance, the sun will then lean down and start combing you into its hair. When the violin can forgive every wound caused by others, your soul will start singing. Thank you, and so it is.